Hello and welcome guys. Today's video is going to be on how to make your own cider. In the last year I've started brewing beer and cider and all sorts of stuff, so this video is going to show you how to make cider for 55 pence. In the UK, well Scotland actually, the minimum, I think it's now £1.8 for a can of cider, and this will be 50p a litre, so yeah, it's quite a saving, 25 pence a can roughly. So here we have two options, or three options in fact, for brewing in. So you can get these buckets for around, I think, a tenner, maybe less than that. They've got a downside where they let oxygen in, which you don't want because it starts to produce like off flavours. But they're obviously a lot cheaper than these big glass bowls. The other option, if you're just starting, is demijohns, which are like 1 gallon things. So that makes 10 500ml bottles of cider, or whatever you're brewing. And this is 23 litres. So what I do is, with this here, it's simply, you go to Lidl and you buy 20 boxes of their apple juice, pour that in, and then you get roughly 3 litres of water, add 4 half cups of sugar to that, so it's like half a cup of sugar per gallon of cider, and you top it off to 23 litres so that the fermenters fill. And the other thing you'll need is airlocks, which these buckets have lids, so you can drill a hole in that, and it'll let the CO2 out and let the oxygen in. And finally, once you've added all the juice and stuff, you add this yeast here, which is what I've been using. You can get as long as it's not like baker's yeast, which is rubbish. You get brewer's yeast and anything will do. So this is actually cider yeast, but there's a pound of bags like for that, so that makes 23 litres of cider. In fact, I was waiting on this coming so long that I actually just split one bag between two of these, so it actually makes 50 litres, well, 46 litres of cider, so it seems to be working fine. So yeah, no, I think this is a great thing to do. It's, and it's a lot nicer than a lot of the shop bought cider, so there's that as well, so and I'll get the fun of making it. I found it takes roughly about 3 weeks to ferment out, so it stops bubbling, and then you do gas it. So I tend to shake it up so that all the CO2 comes out of the liquid, and then once you can bottle it. There's two options: you can put it in a keg or you can bottle it. So I won't go into kegs, but they're a lot easier because you can put like 23 litres of cider straight into the keg rather than mucking around with like 50 bottles. So with bottling, you just get you have to sort of save. Grolsch bottles are good because they've got lids on them and you just put them back on, but you add 1/4 teaspoon of sugar to each bottle, and that carbonates it so that it's fizzy, and about 2 weeks later it's ready to drink. So I plan on covering bottling in a separate video, but here's roughly what you should end up with. It's nice and clear, and that's done by siphoning from above the bottom of the fermenter where all the crap settles. You also might want to leave it a few days because it will start to clear on its own. And also, well, I did nice labels for them, I'm quite proud of them. But the other thing to do is make sure that everything involved that's coming into contact with your wort, as it's called, is clean. Otherwise you'll get an infection and that will produce undrinkable crap. So there's two ways of doing it. Well, there's three. There's a chemical called, there's a chemical called oxy, which also strips off all the crap off of the fermenter when it's done. And there's also, so that can be used in the recommended, it says on the bottle. You can also use this stuff, I got it at like Pound World or something, and it's for cleaning babies' bottles. But it will clean bottles and it will clean fermenters, so I use that sometimes. And also you can get Oxy, which is a non-rinse sanitizer, so you just blast it on, and then give it a few minutes, and then once you're done with it, just you don't actually have to rinse off the chlorine, because you don't really want bleach in your beer. But the Star San doesn't need rinse, so it's you just use it straight away without rinsing it. So thank you for watching this video. It's been a wee bit brief, but I think basically if you follow these instructions, you should be able to make your own cider fairly easily.